He tried to make his victims into living zombies by drilling into their skulls and pouring acid inside. But that was just one of his obsessions. There were others: cannibalism, necrophilia, a freezer full of severed heads. This isn't fiction. These are the real horrifying facts behind one of the most twisted serial killers in American history. These are 10 disturbing facts about Jeffrey Dahmer that you were never meant to know. He didn't just kill, he experimented. Jeffrey Dahmer attempted to create living, submissive zombies by drilling holes into his victims' skulls while they were still alive. Into those wounds, he poured hydrochloric acid or boiling water, hoping to destroy just enough of the brain to erase free will without taking their lives. He wanted companions who would never leave, slaves in flesh, alive but hollow. Every attempt failed. The victims either died in agony or became brain dead before succumbing shortly after. But Dahmer continued, again and again, and one victim, 14-year-old Konarak Synthesomphone, briefly escaped, only to be returned to Dahmer by police who believed his lies. Konarak was dead within hours. Dahmer once said that consuming his victims made them a permanent part of him. He ate hearts, biceps, livers. He described his first act of cannibalism as curiosity, but curiosity soon turned into craving. He prepared human flesh like a meal, tenderizing it, seasoning it, even eating it with steak sauce. He wasn't just feeding on flesh, he was feeding on power. When police entered his apartment in July of 1991, they found something almost too nightmarish to believe. A human head in the fridge, 3 more in the freezer, a 57-gallon drum in the corner, filled with torsos dissolving in acid. There were jars of preserved genitalia, skulls painted and arranged like trophies, and a pile of bleached bones ready for display. This wasn't just a crime scene. It was a macabre museum. Tucked inside a drawer, detectives discovered over 80 Polaroid photos. Bodies, dismembered, posed, desecrated. Many were taken mid-act, capturing each stage of the murder and mutilation. To Dahmer, they were more than memories. They were trophies, a way to relive the experience over and over. One officer reportedly whispered, "These are real," before immediately placing him under arrest. The photos were so graphic, they became pivotal in the prosecution. There was no question of guilt, only horror. Control, possession. Those desires didn't end at death. After murdering his victims, Dahmer would often perform sexual acts on their lifeless bodies, again and again. He confessed to becoming aroused during dismemberment and described the warmth of the bodies as a source of comfort. It wasn't just depravity, it was obsession, taken to its furthest, darkest point. His targets shared common traits: young, marginalized, vulnerable. Most were men of color. Many were part of the LGBTQ+ community. Some were runaways. Others were simply looking for connection. He offered money, alcohol, a place to stay. What he gave them was death. Dahmer specifically sought out those least likely to be missed, those with fewer people looking for them. And for years, it worked. He didn't just kill, he kept parts. Skulls, bleached and painted, were displayed around his home. He stored genitals in jars of acetone, preserved hearts in the freezer, and in perhaps the most chilling detail, he had plans to build an altar, an actual shrine, crafted from skulls and bones, where he said he could meditate, and feel at peace. He envisioned it as a place of power, a sanctuary built from death. His first murder was in 1978, his second nearly a decade later. But once he started again, the pace quickened, until, in the final months, he was killing nearly every week. The murders grew more chaotic, more violent, more desperate. He stopped hiding his urges. He flayed one victim's skin, hoping to preserve it. He was unraveling, losing control, and in that spiral, he made mistakes. When he was finally caught, he didn't lawyer up. He didn't resist. Jeffrey Dahmer waived his rights and confessed everything. Over 60 hours of interviews, producing a 178-page document detailing each murder. He told investigators that he never wanted freedom, that he wished for death. It was the rare instance where a serial killer told every truth, no matter how horrifying. And each truth made the darkness deeper. Dahmer was sentenced to life in prison. He only served 2 years. On the morning of November 28, 1994, another inmate, Christopher Scarver, bludgeoned him to death with a metal bar. Scarver later claimed that Dahmer mocked other inmates, that he made fake severed limbs from prison food, and that God had told him to do it. No guards were present during the murder. Some believe it wasn't just vengeance, but something permitted. At 34 years old, Dahmer was dead, but the horrors he left behind still haunt us. Have you heard anything more disturbing than this? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you subscribe. This is Dead Silence.